MeMonster.
Chapter 16. In the middle of the night, when owls cried outside, I returned from working out and collapsed onto my bed. Ever since I came to this world, I found it hard to fall asleep. My body was tired, but countless random thoughts kept swirling in my head, making it impossible to rest. How could I survive in this world? What should I do? Should I become a supporter who secretly helps the main characters? Or should I become a villain and destroy evil from within, like in those noir movies? Suddenly, I became curious about my current stats. I reached for my laptop. Stats. Variable stats. Strength 1.735. Stamina 1.845. Perception 2.605. Vitality 1.65. Magic power 1.3. Sure enough, my stats were rising. All stats except magic power had surpassed the average adult males of 1.5, and my perception was beyond what ordinary people could have. But I was still far from ready to enter a field. I needed money, and it wouldn't be long before the Packhorse Master Guild went public. Suddenly, a thought flashed through my mind. Going to the field was the most straightforward way to make money. I'd been putting it off because my stats were lacking. But after thinking it over, there was a way around it. I could make up for my lacking stats by using the laptop to strengthen my weapon. Just like Kim Suho, who would later use a single holy sword to sever a mountain. It seemed the quickest way to become stronger, but it was also a huge waste of SP. Currently, I had a training gun provided by Cube and 380 SP I got from destroying my potential friendship with Chae Na-yoon. Now, suppose I also had the famous handgun, Desert Eagle. Even if I invested all my SP into strengthening my training gun, it would likely only match the Desert Eagle. In other words, SP was more efficient when used to modify weapons with a stronger base performance. Speaking of the Desert Eagle, I suddenly became curious. It was the only firearm I had in my setting. Without getting up from bed, I turned on my smartwatch and entered a weapons dealer website. Essential Armory. It was an armory operated by the Essence of the Strait Guild. Since weapons above artifact grade were sold in auctions, Essential Armory was the most popular website for factory-manufactured weapons. Welcome to Essential Armory. As expected of the most popular weapons dealer, the website was well designed. The homepage showed off new items, and the top bar had categories like sword, spear, bow, and rapier. Since mercenaries often used the site, it also had a good selection of guns. I clicked on Category, Gun. There were different types of guns: handgun, assault rifle, sniper rifle. For now, a handgun suited me best, since it wouldn't hinder my movements. The Desert Eagle seemed to be a popular choice among handguns, and I quickly found it. Desert Eagle. Feel the transcendental power. Built into the Desert Eagle is a magic amplification device that boosts the power of magic bullets. Because of its huge recoil, the Desert Eagle is recommended only for the most proficient sharpshooters. Weight 3.5948 kilograms, or 1.2938 kilograms with weight reduction magic effect added. Length 333 millimeters. Identification and contract required to purchase. Desert Eagle. Its picture on the website looked even more beautiful than the original design. The barrel had an elegant platinum color, and a majestic eagle was inscribed on the grip. While it looked like a piece of art, this weapon was heavy and bulky. Just from a glance, I could tell how powerful it was. There was just one problem. It's too expensive. It was expensive. Its base price was 20 million won, and the price doubled if I clicked the full attachments checkbox. I needed the weapon to make money, so buying it almost seemed counterproductive. I tried to think about what to do, but my brain refused to work. My consciousness grew foggy, and I felt drowsy. It seemed sleep would come soon. I turned off the smartwatch and let myself drift off. I could think about this tomorrow. When I opened my eyes, it was Wednesday. Bright morning light shone through the curtain. It was an unpleasant light, no matter how many times I saw it. Another exhausting day had begun. With a sigh, I brushed off the negative emotions that came every morning. After trudging to the bathroom and washing up, I put on my uniform and left the dorm. 10 minutes was enough for this routine. Outside, I saw other cadets getting ready for class. It was still early, but they were already laughing and chatting. Seeing them enjoy their school life, I realized why I felt so lethargic. I didn't have a friend in this world. I didn't even have anyone to talk to. Back in my old world, hanging out with friends was the only thing that kept school from being boring. But now, I was alone. Should I try to find a girlfriend? No, I was too lazy for that. If I wasted my emotions on pointless relationships, my condition could get worse. Yep, I should just be content with dying alone. With that, I quickened my pace to the classroom. As you know, a guild's database contains a lot of useful information, but most of the time you have to reach a certain rank to access it. I thought about my weapon as I half-listened to the old professor's lecture. The image of a majestic eagle shimmered in my mind. How could I make the money to buy it? The first thing I thought of was selling information. I had designed most of the monsters myself, so I knew their vital points and attributes. Since each guild had a different collection of data, if I sold them information they didn't have... No, that wasn't the best idea. It would take 5 years for an information broker to build up a reputation. It also didn't seem wise to disrupt the world's balance just to make some money. Now, let's continue after a little break. Before I noticed, break time had come. I immediately turned on my smartwatch to enter Essential Armory again, but I received an unexpected message. Excuse me. I recognized the sender's name. Rank 7, Yu Yune Yon. Because cadets' smartwatches were connected to Cube's intranet, it was possible to message others without knowing their exact contact address. This was my first time using this feature. Yu Yune Yan was sitting in the front row. After glancing at the back of her head, I replied, "What? What do you mean?" She didn't reply for a while. I wondered where this was coming from, then remembered what I told her before. I checked the time. It was 1 p.m. I gave her the information yesterday, and she already confirmed it was true? Oh, is it about that? I'm surprised you believed me. What? So, wasn't I right? Honestly, I was also dying to know whether the Mountain Tyrant setting was unchanged. If this unknown co-author wanted to change everything I knew about, I'd have a tough time ahead. Yes. Thankfully, that wasn't the case. I breathed a sigh of relief. How did you know? You think I'd tell you? Yu Yune Yan's shoulder twitched. Immediately after she sent a short reply. No.
A smirk appeared on my face. When I was about to end the conversation, I remembered something. Desert eagle, the elegant and dignified bird of prey. I'd almost forgotten. The reason I gave her the information was for times like this. Coincidentally, Essential Armory was operated by Yu Yanha's guild, Essence of the Strait. Anyways, if you benefited from the information I gave you, I'd like to ask for a favor. Yu Yanha suddenly turned around. As if she'd been watching my seat, she knew exactly where I was. Though her gaze was still sharp, it seemed less intimidating. How should I put it? Right, she looked like a big bag of money.
Chapter 17. What do you want? I knew Yunyanha would agree. She was the type who couldn't stand one-sided favors. Now, I wondered what I should ask for. Asking for money didn't feel right. Even though it was Yunyanha, she was still a minor. She likely couldn't freely spend tens of millions of won. It's simple. I need a weapon. After sending her that message, I sent her the link to Essential Armory's Desert Eagle. Yunyanha looked at the link I sent her and glanced back up at me. She didn't seem hostile. I think it's pretty cheap. I understand. Is it possible to get it by tomorrow? The sooner I got it, the more money I could make. Even if tomorrow was too soon, I hope to get it by the end of the week. Yes, I'll take care of it. Surprisingly, she replied without hesitation, even though her parents should still be in charge of guild work. I was impressed by her decisiveness. Get back to your seats. The break ended at just the right time, as the old professor resumed class after drinking some water. Wednesday's theory class ended. At 3 p.m., anti-personnel training began. On a fairly large training field, each cadet met with others they promised to spar with. Meanwhile, I looked for the instructor, feeling a bit lost. "Hey!" A sharp voice stabbed my ear from behind. It had to be calling me. I turned around and instantly froze. Chae Na-yoon was glaring at me with terrifying eyes. She said, "Spar with me." The hostility in her tone bordered on killing intent. Gulp. I swallowed hard. Like the saying, a word causes a debt worth 1,000 gold taels, I had made a terrifying enemy with a single sentence. Chae Na-yoon was too dangerous to have as an enemy. If I wanted a peaceful life, I had to mend our relationship, even if it meant kneeling and begging. But, looking at Chae Na-yoon, I hesitated. Would she forgive me for my rash insult just because I apologized? Seeing me silent, Chae Na-yoon pointed at my gun and spoke. "Your gun. Take it out." The first training gun broke when I fought the Jin. This was a new one. I looked down at my holster, then back up at Chae Na-yoon. "I don't want to." "You scared?" These two words echoed, drawing the attention of everyone on the training field. How should I act in front of Chae Na-yoon? Without a doubt, the incident I was clueless about was well known among all cadets. The original King Chundong should have known about it too. So if I apologize now, it might seem like an even greater insult. No. Besides, it might be better for me to remain a bad guy to Chae Na-yoon. My first and foremost goal, the reason I worked so hard without rest, was to kill her older brother within a certain amount of time. Even if I mended my relationship with Chae Na-yoon and became friends, my actions would only leave her with a cruel sense of betrayal and hatred. "I am afraid you might get hurt. This thing uses real bullets, you see." Immediately, the atmosphere changed. Chae Na-yoon clenched her bow. I could see the force in her hand from the veins popping out. "I don't think your bullets will hurt me even if they hit me." Chae Na-yoon suppressed her anger and retorted with a cold sneer. My response was simple. "You won't get hurt. You'll die instead." "Huh. Say that again, punk." Chae Na-yoon stepped up close. She looked like she would explode at any moment. She was technically 165 centimeters, while I was 174, but she seemed much bigger for some reason. "Really? Who do you think you are?" The atmosphere turned tense, and more spectators gathered to watch. At that moment, "Chae Na-yoon, get back." The instructor stepped in. I breathed a sigh of relief, thankful she came before it was too late. Chae Na-yoon turned toward the instructor. "Why should I? Before he gets a gun for sparring, no one can spar with Kim Hajin cadet." "But I don't mind." "I mind." "Why?" "Failure to heed an instructor's order will be met with disciplinary action. An instructor's words are absolute." Chae Na-yoon clenched her teeth, looking wronged, but in the end, she gave me a final glare before leaving. The spectators also dispersed and went back to their training. Everything returned to normal. "Take your gun out." The instructor spoke as she wrapped her hands in bandages. Her name, Park Henna, was it? I asked her, "Does a gun for sparring even exist?" "How the hell do I know?" Crack, crack. The instructor cracked her knuckles and neck in front of me. "Now, come." Then she smiled and gestured with her finger. This person, did she enjoy this? Thursday was the hunting club's orientation, but since cadets weren't required to go, I decided to skip it this week. Partly to avoid Chain Ayun, but mainly to test out the weapon I would receive as soon as possible. I can't wait. I was at Angel Box, a coffee shop near Seoul, waiting for an item. For the record, cadets could use portals 5 to 6 times a month as long as they filled out a form. Time passed. 5:29:55, 5:29:56, 5:29, 5:30. At exactly the promised time, the shop's door opened. A man in a black suit and sunglasses walked in, with a suitcase. After looking around, his eyes met mine. I waved my hand. His face didn't change. Striding over, he walked up to me. Kim Hajin? Yes, that's me. I felt like I knew who this man was. Only one person came to mind when I thought of Yunyan Ha's attendant, Jin Si-chan. The man, presumably Jin Si-chan, placed the suitcase on the table without sitting down. Here is the item. Please take a look. Are you in a hurry? You can sit. I pointed to the chair in front of me. Before I received the item, I wanted to do a quick test. He sat down without complaint. I took out the laptop I bought from my bag. Yesterday, I made some changes to it. Right, I could use the laptop to modify itself. Are you doing something? What do you mean? He tilted his head. Why are you tapping on air? You can't see this? I lifted up my laptop. He looked at me as if I was crazy. I see. I had a suspicion, but it seemed I was right. Only I could see this laptop. Ha, I'm kidding. That was fine with me. I turned it on. The additional setting I put into my laptop was this. When Kim Hajin is within 50 meters of a target with an altered setting, the content and summary of the change will be sent to Kim Hajin's laptop. Does not work on targets past a certain level of importance. The reason I added this setting was because I thought it would be more efficient to be notified of a change through an objective medium rather than having to notice it and then be told by the co-author. Either because the co-author didn't care or because he encouraged the modification, I only had to pay 200 SP. A change in setting has been detected. And currently there was an alert on the laptop as expected. Jin Si-chan. His feelings for Yunyan Ha have deepened. I didn't mind this change. Anyway, I'll take a look now. I opened the suitcase. Click, click. With an elegant sound, the case opened. A brilliant light erupted from inside. Wow!
Sitting on top of fancy red velvet was a platinum handgun and a magazine. It was even more beautiful than in the picture. As promised, it's the Desert Eagle with full attachments and a 60-round magazine of pinnacle-grade magic bullets. Thank you. You can go now. I no longer cared about Jin Si-chan. Using my laptop, I checked my new weapon's setting. Desert Eagle. High rank. Metal attribute. A masterpiece handgun. Contains several added effects. Attack power amplification, 1/10. Low rank weight reduction magic. Intermediate rank recoil control magic. Magic bullet. Pinnacle grade. Null attribute. 44 Macon steel mana bullet with condensed high purity mana. Attack power, 4/10. I felt much better being able to read their descriptions. Without having to modify the gun or the bullet, I felt like I could easily kill a low intermediate rank monster. I should also be able to take Aether from the Devil's Nest in Suron. Then I'll be going. Yes, take care. After sending Jin Si-chan off, he checked the amount of SP he had left. 250. Now, how should I spend this? After leaving the coffee shop, Jin Si-chan contacted Yu Yun-hei. She asked as soon as he picked up the call. Did you deliver the item? Yes. Was there anything special about him? There wasn't anything special, but there was something he found strange. No matter how much he thought about it, the man's demeanor wasn't what a 17-year-old should have. Not to mention, it was almost as if he knew who Jinsei-chan was. Yes? No, there wasn't anything special in particular. But he couldn't decide with just that short exchange. After all, he's a Cube cadet. Even Yu Yenhei had an air of dignity and elegance that didn't suit her age. Yes, I understand. Thank you for your work, Seichan-shi. My pleasure. With that, the call ended. Although he wanted to talk a little longer, he decided to be content.
Chapter 18. 170,000 won? My voice rose at the unexpected price. The portal worker replied without any change in expression. Yes, from Seoul to Gangwon-do Wonju, it's 170,000 won. Unlike the trip from Cube to Seoul, traveling from Seoul to Gangwon-do had a fee. I had my card with me, but 170,000 won was a lot, especially since I was trying to save money. Customer, there are people waiting in line. The female portal worker gave a cold warning. Looking around, I saw many people waiting. Each of them had a weapon, so it seemed we all had the same goal. Can something be done with this? The portal worker sighed, clearly annoyed, but still took my card. Then her eyes widened and her tone brightened. Oh, you're a Cube cadet. Cadets are allowed 6 free passes per month. Oh, really? That's great. Would you like to use one? Yes. She took my wrist and stamped a seal on it. I was genuinely surprised by her sudden change in attitude. It seemed being a hero really was one of the best jobs in this world. Thank you. Yes, have a safe trip, Kim Hajin Cadet Nim. She even knew my name. With a bitter smile, I walked into the portal. Gangwon-do Wonju scenery could be summed up in one sentence. So many foreigners. Just like in my setting, Wonju was a global city. Although the buildings were limited in height due to the threat of monsters, the city was filled with sturdy, modern structures. Foreigners of all skin colors walked around with their weapons, while agency employees busily tapped on their tablets, likely calculating the day's haul. It was different from Seoul and Busan, but it was certainly an unusual scene. We took on a good amount today. How much do I get? Hearing clumsy Korean, I couldn't help but laugh. English and Korean were the shared languages of this world. This showed Korea's importance and authority in the international community. While this sounded great for Korea, the country was only a step away from disaster. The Korean peninsula constantly produced new towers and dungeons. The textbooks gave several explanations. A scientific and geological one I couldn't understand, and a religious one that said Korea was blessed or cursed by heaven. In truth, neither was correct. Regardless, the many towers and dungeons produced countless monsters. If not for heroes who could turn them into marketable resources, Korea would have been destroyed long ago. However, the 9 stars, 9 of the strongest heroes, had 5 Korean members. One even served as Korea's 20th president. That said enough. You killed 3 hobgoblins, so after taxes and processing fees, it should be about 600,000 won. Foreigners had to pay higher taxes by law. Even so, foreign mercenaries and heroes flocked to Korea because the hunting process was safe enough to make up for the high taxes. If things got dangerous during a hunt, you could send a distress call, and heroes or agents would arrive in less than 3 minutes. Korea is the only country in the world with this system. Take this. You'll feel better afterward. It's a troll blood potion. Ah, thank you. Seeing the world my setting created, I walked through the streets. The city was full of interesting things: blacksmith workshops, potion stores, alcohol bars, and more. Shops that looked like they belonged in the Middle Ages operated in modern buildings, making it feel like a game world. The sentence,
Wanju is a famous tourist city, which I wrote without much thought, had seemed to cause this setting. I kept walking, and before I knew it, I was at the entrance to the field. Many people were already waiting nearby. If I wanted to hunt in a quiet place, I'd have to go to Hamgyong province, but that was too dangerous for me right now. "Excuse me." Just as I was about to enter, someone spoke to me. It was a tall, average-looking man with slouched shoulders and round glasses. I didn't know him. He probably was an agent. "Yes? Are you here to hunt monsters? Are you an agent?" Yes. Here's my business card." I took the business card. I didn't know who he was, but an agent was necessary to sell monster bodies. When I looked at the name and company logo, I doubted my eyes. SH Agent, Head Manager, Park Soo-hik? Mr. Park Soo-hik? "Ah, yes, nice to meet you." The man smiled as he straightened his shabby clothes. Park Soo-hik. I knew who he was. He looked just like I described him in my novel. Park Soo-hik should be the most frequently appearing agent in the novel, as SH Agent would become Korea's greatest agency. I might not have heard of me. I started this work not too long ago. But for now, he didn't seem to be doing well. I smiled. Connections are one of the most important things in life. A person's future often depends on the relationships they make. Since this world was still in its early stage, there were many who were currently weak but would become successful in the future. The best way to get close to a famous person is to become friends before they become famous. SH Agent. I don't think I've heard of it before. The only thing that bothered me was that this connection was supposed to be Kim Soo-ho's. But since agents usually had multiple clients, it was probably fine. It feels like a trustworthy name. Thank you. By the way, I took out my laptop and checked for any changes in Park Soo-hik's setting. Thankfully, there were no changes, meaning his extraordinary ability was unchanged. My main weapon is a gun. Is that okay? I don't see why that would be a problem. Gun or sword, mercenary or hunter, it doesn't matter to me. New customers are always welcome. Park Soo-hik reached out his hand with a bright smile. 8 bullets were loaded in my gun. Each pinnacle-grade magic bullet cost about 150,000 won. Since each low-rank monster sold for 300 to 400,000 won, I couldn't use more than 1 bullet per monster because of the agent fee. With that in mind, I walked into the field. Park Soo-hik followed behind me. It seemed he was desperate, considering that agents without a vehicle usually wait outside the field. There's one over there. After about 30 minutes of wandering, we finally encountered a monster. A large body and protruding teeth. It was a low-rank grade 9 monster called an iron hog. The iron part of its name wasn't because it was covered in iron, but because its skin was stronger than iron. I think we should ignore that one. When I started to approach, Park Soo-hik held me back. I asked, "Why?" "Yes?" Park Soo-hik's eyes seemed to say, "Do I need to explain this to?" "You can't kill an iron hog with a gun. Even piercing its outer skin will be difficult." "But it's expensive." "Yes?" The price of a monster followed the law of the free market. Monsters like the undead give no benefits and have no value. As a result, monsters like these are subsidized by the government. Even if it's expensive, attacking it isn't a good idea. You'll have to wait and see.
I took out my Desert Eagle and aimed it forward. The gun barrel shone under the blazing sun. Wait, just 1 minute! Park Soo-hik panicked, but I didn't hesitate. I pulled the trigger. The bullet shot straight to the middle of the iron hog's head. And before the hog could even react, it tore through its iron-like skin. With its brain destroyed, it collapsed instantly. Perfect! Both the weapon's power and my skill were satisfactory. I had struck the Iron Hog's vital point with pinpoint accuracy.
Whoa!
Next to me, Park Soo-yuk exclaimed in awe. By the way, the setting I added to my Desert Eagle was simple and effective. When a monster is one-shot killed by the Desert Eagle, its attack power is amplified, using low intermediate rank as the standard. 1% attack power increase per kill. Repeated killing of same-ranked monsters will slightly lower the amount of attack power increase. By adding a restriction that required effort, I got a good effect for the SP I spent. So, clean, isn't it? Once again, I felt certain about my choice of weapon. Sniping from afar without getting close was the perfect hunting method. Low risk and low tension. That's a great gun! Your sharpshooting's amazing, too! I'm flattered. I pointed at the Iron Hog's corpse. So how much will this go for? It looks pretty expensive. Well, Iron Hogs are already pricey, and since this corpse is in such good condition, even after the fees, it should be at least 800,000 won. Wow. Hold on. Let me store the corpse first. Park Soo-yuk took out a pouch from his bag. It was a magical pouch with space expansion magic. Seeing him struggle to put the hog in the pouch, I grabbed the hog's front leg. I'll help out. Thank you. This is really heavy. But now that I thought about it, my strength stat wasn't that high either. God. Wow, it really is heavy. Aren't you an agent? Shouldn't you have known this beforehand? You're right. I'll hold its hind legs, you hold the front. Wait, don't we have to carry the pouch around afterward? Don't worry. Anything inside the pouch will have its weight cut in half. Only half? I couldn't help but sigh. Kim Soo-ho only met Park Soo-yuk in his 3rd year. Park Soo-yuk was in a bad state even then, so now, well, I could only be thankful he hadn't starved to death. Come on, put more strength into it. Sorry, I didn't have lunch. After an hour of groaning and struggling, we finally managed to stuff the hog in the pouch. Whew. I collapsed on the ground, exhausted. My strength and stamina stats had to have increased from that. It's already 7. Before I knew it, the sun had set and darkness had fallen over the field. A biting cold enveloped my body. From the looks of it, today's hunt would end with this one kill. Though I regretted wasting so much time, I wasn't too upset since I made a valuable connection. So, how do we bring this back? Don't worry about that. If it looks like we really can't, we just have to call 119. We only need to reimburse them for the trip. That's ingenious. We laughed together. At that moment, hold on. Rustle. A faint sound came from a tree. Shh. I took out my gun again and put my finger to my lips. Then I fired in the direction of the sound. Thud. There was no scream, only the sound of a heavy body crashing down. Huh? What happened? It's a black pelican. Yes? Park Soo-yuk might not have seen anything, but I could see it clearly. My eyes could see 1,000 miles away. Black pelican? Yep. Fantastic. We should take this one back too.
Chapter 19. Friday morning. I opened my eyes in bed, and my whole body ached immediately. Iron hog and black pelican. No matter how much I thought about it, the monsters I hunted yesterday were just too heavy. Thankfully, I made it back before curfew. Otherwise, I would have faced disciplinary punishment on top of losing points. Fortunately, today was Friday, so there wasn't a class that required physical activity. Tiredly, I got up and checked my smartwatch. There were 3 unread messages. 810,131 has been deposited. 450,271 has been deposited. Here is the payment for yesterday's monsters. I hope to work with you again. SH Agency Head Manager, Park Soo-hyuk. The payment was faster than I expected. If I remembered correctly, exclusive contracts had monthly payments.
Mine must have been quick because it was a one-time deal. Still, to have it taken care of overnight, he really was efficient, as expected of Park Soo-hyuk. Thanks to him, I now had something to do today. I could open a brokerage account and buy Packhorse Guild stock. 1 million won sounded like a good start. After washing away my drowsiness with cold water, I dried off, put on my cadet uniform, and headed to class. Friday's first period was phenomenon realm analysis. From what other cadets were saying, it seemed we were assigned the most difficult theory class since there was no physical training today. Of course, this didn't apply to me. I sat in a random seat and took out my laptop. After confirming that only I could see it, I openly fiddled with it in class. Master Sharpshooter. Low intermediate rank. Spirit attribute. Evolving. Grade 8. Proficiency XP 13%. Master Sharpshooter's training. Familiarity with all long-ranged weapons. 1,000-mile eyes. Can see far away and predict a target's movement path. Increases speed and perception by 0.3 points. Bullet time. In combat only and once every 24 hours, you can spend 10 seconds in bullet time. Sharpshooter of Reversal. A low-ranked skill I got from defeating a djinn was quite decent. Master Sharpshooter had also reached grade 8. Of course, its growth would slow as the grade increased. Sit down! While I was enjoying my progress, the professor walked in. There is a written exam today, as I mentioned last time. A test was announced out of the blue. Groans erupted from the cadets. It seemed I wasn't the only one just now hearing about this. What? Really? I didn't study at all. In front of me, Chae Na-yoon muttered in despair. Kim Soo-ho, sitting next to her, promptly showed her the notes I took yesterday. Chae Na-yoon coughed embarrassingly. Now, quiet down. The professor silenced the class before handing out the exam sheets. After the sound of shuffling papers, I received mine. Problem 1. Describe the monster Pygmalion. Problem 2. Describe the 9 evils, jinns. Problem 3. State the attributes that humans can manifest in the phenomenon realm. Problem 4. The problems were more difficult and ambiguous than I expected. Other cadets sighed as soon as they glanced at the questions, but I was different. I had all the answers on my laptop. Pygmalions are fallen ghosts whose intelligence exceeds that of humans. They can't be seen in the phenomenon realm, and they act as humans after possessing them. Because of this behavior, some argue that they should be classified as a jinn. Of course, I would get the problem wrong if any of the settings had changed, but that was even better. It meant I would learn more about the new settings. What happened? Just as I was almost done writing all the answers, my laptop suddenly shut down. My lifeline was gone. I started to sweat from the unexpected situation. And because I was in the middle of an exam, there was nothing I could do. Then, blue words suddenly appeared on the LCD screen. A month has passed. The laptop's functionality will be updated. Target Kim Hajin's observation and reading gift will be strengthened. There was a meeting every even-numbered Friday. Yu Yan-ha called this social leadership meeting the Noble Society. Yu Yan-ha wanted Noble Society to be a source of vital connections after graduation. But Chae Na-yoon, who was the most important connection, didn't care much about it. To Chae Na-yoon, Noble Society was like an alumni reunion, a place to meet childhood friends. Today's Noble Society meeting was at a coffee shop in Seoul. How are your grades? It's good enough. The Jonghak I know isn't content unless he gets first place. Only Shin Jong-hak and Yu Yan-ha were in the coffee shop. No other customers were present. It was a popular place, but Yu Yan-ha had rented it out. Like I said, it's good enough. Yeah, okay. Kring! The bell on the coffee shop door rang. Yu Yan-ha and Shin Jong-hak turned toward the door.
It was Chae Ne-yoon wearing her usual style, blue jeans and a black jacket over a slightly see-through white shirt. She walked like a man, but her elegant figure was more charming than any other woman. "Hey, Chae Ne-yoon, you came today?" Shin Jong-hak waved in greeting. Chae Ne-yoon walked over and looked around the shop before speaking. "Hey, where did your lackeys go?" In Chae Ne-yoon's eyes, Shin Jong-hak was the type who liked to bring lackeys. These followers were usually sons of large corporations or guilds, and even though Shin Jong-hak called them friends, the hierarchy was obvious. "They're training. Midterms are soon." "Oh, those guys also prepare for exams?" Chae Ne-yoon made a snarky comment and sat down. "Rather than that, how did you do on the last written exam?" "Are you making fun of me?" "No, it's just that you asked whether the other guys were preparing for exams." "That's different. I'm talking about the combat exam. Who cares if you're good at theory?" Unlike when he was with Yu Yan-ha, Shin Jong-hak actively started conversations with Chae Ne-yoon. Her replies were as usual. Yu Yan-ha watched the two quietly. She didn't think much of it. They were just talking as friends. But the look on Shin Jong-hak's face when he talked to Chae Ne-yoon, his soft smile and kind eyes, didn't sit well with Yu Yan-ha. "Krr." Yu Yan-ha clenched her teeth lightly and grabbed the cup of coffee she ordered for Chae Ne-yoon. Since she ordered it 30 minutes ago, it was lukewarm. She released her magic power into the cup, heating the coffee. "By the way, do you know Kim Hajin?" At that moment, her focus scattered and her ears perked up. Yu Yan-ha inadvertently joined the conversation. "Kim Ha-jin." "Yeah. What about him?" Chae Ne-yoon's face twisted in annoyance. "What do you think about that bastard, Yen-ha?" Yu Yan-ha felt her heart drop. Kim Ha-jin. Normally, she wouldn't have thought much about him. Even if she did, her assessment would have been, "I don't care," or "that crazy psycho." But things had changed.
There was something about him. She wasn't sure what, but he wasn't so simple. Still, Yu Yan-ha hid her thoughts. "What do you mean? He's just an average guy." "No, never mind." Chae Ne-yoon grabbed her cup roughly. Yu Yan-ha swallowed, unsettled by Chae Ne-yoon's reaction. "That bastard is hiding something for sure." "What are you so angry about?" This time Shin Jong-hak asked, smiling as if he enjoyed seeing Chae Ne-yoon angry. "You don't know? There was a djinn at the National Weapons Museum during the recent monster incident in Seoul. Then that bastard..." Then Chae Ne-yoon gulped her coffee, then immediately spat it out. "Ach! Damn, it's hot! Water, water!" Panting, she looked for cold water. Yu Yan-ha carefully consoled her, feeling a knot in her heart loosen. "Nyan, that's coffee, not cold water." "You haven't changed, have you?" Shin Jong-hak laughed, while an employee quickly brought cold water. Here." Chae Ne-yoon grabbed it and gulped it down. "Ah, I burned my tongue." She caught her breath before continuing. "Anyway, that djinn was stronger than Kim Soo-ho and I thought. Even I..." At that point, Chae Ne-yoon paused and looked at her two listeners. What happened back then was embarrassing, so she didn't want to go into detail. "Even I struggled a bit. Kim Soo-ho is a different story, but how can an ordinary cadet like him deal such fatal damage to a djinn?" "What happened exactly?" "I don't want to explain it in detail. Just know that he blew up a djinn's arm. With a gun, at that. A gun. How does that make sense? Blowing up a djinn's arm with a gun, it was hard to believe without seeing it." Yu Yan-ha pondered, rubbing her chin. She'd seen Kim Ha-jin fight. He was quick, but it was hard to believe he had the power to break a djinn's arm. "Oh, wait!" At that moment, Chae Ne-yoon suddenly became serious. Her eyes looked nervous, and she seemed hesitant to speak. Naturally, Shin Jong-hak and Yu Yan-ha focused on her. Could it be that he's a djinn? "Na-yoon, if he was a djinn, he wouldn't have attacked a fellow djinn." Yu Yan-ha quickly broke the tension. "I guess you're right. Anyway, there's something about that guy." "So you're telling me you don't like him?" At that moment, Shin Jong-hak, who had been listening quietly, spoke up.
Chae Na-yoon and Yu Yan-ha both understood the hidden meaning about his words. Chae Na-yoon thought about how to answer. She knew Shin Jong-hak's personality well. Depending on her answer, that man's future could change. After a bit of contemplation, Chae Na-yoon replied briefly, "I'm not sure, but something like that."
Chapter 20. Updating in progress, 79%. It was 9 a.m. on Saturday. My laptop was still dead, stuck at 79% after a whole day of updating. I wondered what amazing new features it would get, but mostly I was dying from the anxious wait. As I stared at the update percentage, my smartwatch rang. Brokerage account for Kim Hajin has opened. Oh, it's done. I was worried about this too. It would have been easy if I were an adult, but I was still a minor. Just like in my previous world, a minor couldn't open a brokerage account without a guardian's consent. If I wasn't a cube cadet, it would have been impossible. Now that I had an account, I got to work right away. Using my smartwatch, I transferred money to my new brokerage account. 1 million won from the last monster hunt and 2 million won I already had, totaling 3 million. It was pocket change compared to what other traders had, but enough to get started. I opened the stock trading program. The guild stock market operated on weekends, unlike the normal stock market. The Pack Horse Master Guild was listed on the exchange. Each stock was worth 171. I didn't know much about complicated things like short selling or price fluctuations, so I just bought as much as I could. 17,647 stocks of Pack Horse Master Guild purchased. It didn't take long, but it felt strange to just leave, so I checked a stock forum. Gathering of people who enjoy stock exchange. With 930,000 members, it was the biggest stock forum. I searched for Pack Horse Master. List of new guilds. Guilds newly listed. Guild market is hard nowadays. None of the new guilds look promising. There were no posts specifically about Pack Horse Master, just brief mentions. Oh well, what did I expect from an online forum? I clicked my tongue and turned off the smartwatch. In this world, information was money. Even finding a website's existence often cost money. Expert brokers didn't bother with free online forums. Information guilds had their own intranets for buying information, and those who wanted secrecy used something like the Violet Banquet. Oh, right. Speaking of secrecy, there was one group that lived in the shadows. Chameleon Troop. First revealed halfway through the story, the Chameleon Troop was the most powerful gang in my novel. Its members played important roles until the late stages. The name came from a chameleon's ability to camouflage. Just like a chameleon, the group was secretive and its members' identities were completely hidden. Right now, one seat in the Chameleon Troop was empty. It would stay open for another year or two and become important later. I knew who the Chameleon Troop's leader was and where she operated. Other than the members themselves, I was probably the only one who knew. The Chameleon Troop was a gang of criminals, but they rejected jinns. In this world, jinns were absolute evil. If I could become a member, well, that was unrealistic. But if I could at least befriend the leader, maybe I could turn them into allies. Just as I was thinking that, look! Suddenly, a sharp pain shot through my left upper arm. It felt like a hot knife carving my skin. Blood spurted from my arm, splashing onto my wide eyes. I quickly pulled up my sleeve. A strange scar was forming on my upper arm. What the hell? The pain and the scar were both incomprehensible. I clenched my teeth and pressed my hand over the bleeding mark. At the same time, a flood of information rushed into my mind. This stigma is one of the authorities of the Creator. It contains magic power. One streak of stigma will be inscribed each time your total acquired SP reaches a certain level, which is when your fame increases by a level. You can freely use the magic power stored inside stigma, which will slowly regenerate over 24 hours even if depleted. Ah! A throbbing pain rang in my head and arm, but even through the paralyzing pain, I could see the laptop screen clearly. Update list. the Book of Truth has been added to the gift, observation, and reading. The weekend sky was clear and blue. The early spring weather was chilly, but there was a hint of warmth. Still, I couldn't enjoy the day. I was summoned to Seoul's Association Tower. It was to receive a commendation for subduing the jinn in the recent incident. Really, couldn't they just come give it to me? The ceremony was held in a garden at Association Tower. Many people were already gathered when I arrived, but the event hadn't started. Kim Soo-ho, Chae Na-yoon, and I were forced into a rehearsal because we'd receive our commendations from a dignitary, but he was late, so we waited. With Chae Na-yoon next to me, it felt like sitting on needles. Happy? I yawned once out of boredom, but Chae Na-yoon, looking for a fight, snapped at me. I replied briefly, "What?" "You've had a smirk for a while." It was unfair how she could look so pretty even while complaining. I planned to stay quiet, but then remembered why I was here. "You didn't forget, did you?" "Forget what?" "That I saved you." She still looked angry but fell silent. "That's that, and this is... Stop, both of you." After a moment, Chae Na-yoon opened her mouth to argue, but Kim Soo-ho cut in. "What? Why? I don't want to." Watching them bicker didn't feel great. Thankfully, their little scuffle ended quickly, and Kim Soo-ho took the seat next to me. He looked at me and coughed. "Thank you, for back then." "What?" I was stunned. I wanted to be left alone, so why was he talking to me? "Back at the museum, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have won." "No, you would have won even if I wasn't there. If I hadn't been there, Kim Soo-ho might have activated an even greater power. Main characters always grew stronger through hardship." "No." With that, Kim Soo-ho turned away. At that moment, a powerful wave of magic powers swept through the area. The dignitary had finally arrived. "He's here! Everyone get ready!" He was today's commendation conferrer, the master rank hero known as Wolf of Valhalla. His shoulder-length hair curled slightly, and he had a well-trimmed beard, rare for an Eastern man. His regal presence wasn't just a feeling. Each step sent a ripple of magic power through the air. His raw power was so great, even he couldn't fully control it. Looking around with wolf-like eyes, the master rank hero, Yu Si-hook, murmured quietly, "These bastards telling me what to do." It was so quiet, only I could hear it with my gift. With a mix of arrogance and lethargy, Yu Si-hook brushed past the guests. He strode up to the podium. His attendants rushed over and handed him a paper with the ceremony order. He clicked his tongue, glanced at it, and then tossed it away. The attendants scrambled to pick it up. "Now the commendation will begin." The host announced the start of the ceremony. "The commendation will be conferred by the rank 37 master rank hero, Sir Yu Si-hook."
As rehearsed, Kim Soo-ho, Chae Na-yoon, and I walked up to the podium. Yu Si-yuk smirked at Kim Soo-ho. "Are you Kim Soo-ho?" "Yes." I can see why those guys want you." Intense interest flashed in Yu Si-yuk's eyes. With unusual kindness, he advised Kim Soo-ho, "Don't join the association. It might be better to join the vast expanse and become a hunter. Being a hero is just a burden and no fun." "Still, being a hero suits me best." Kim Soo-ho smiled, clearly refusing. Yu Si-yuk's mouth twisted up. "You're a boring guy." "Fine. And you? It's been a while, eh?" Now it was Chae Na-yoon's turn. She looked bitter as their eyes met. "It's been a while. Your father told me to take care of you, but I don't plan on doing that." Master, I'm not your master. A bow user like you thinks you can call me master. Do you want to die?" At his blunt reproach, Chae Na-yoon just pouted. Seeing her like that, I struggled not to laugh. "And who are you?" "I am Cadet Kim Hajin." "Oh, okay." That was it for me. A completely different treatment from what Kim Soo-ho and Chae Na-yoon got. It seemed indifference really was more painful than hatred.
Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video. Have a suggestion? Let me know in the comments.